welcome in to my latest video. Today we're going to talk about the full moon in Leo. Okay, it's on February 12th. It's at 5:53 a.m. PST, which is 8:53 EST. It's at 24 degrees of Leo. How do we know all of these statistics about this particular moon? Well, I'm so glad you asked. All you have to do is grab your moon journal, which I have created to help you manifest with the cycles of the moon. So I'm just going to go forward. So you'll see that I did my new moon intentions in the last video about the new moon in Aquarius. So I wrote out my new moon intentions in my moon journal. And then, so you go to the February of 2025 moons, and there are 4 phases of the moon that I advise you how to manifest, how to embrace these lunar cycles. So one of the 4 of February 2025 is the full moon on February 12th at 24 degrees of Leo at 5:53 PST. And then you get a journal prompt on how to embrace this particular full moon. So if you haven't gotten my 2025 Moons of 2025 journal that is available on Amazon, get it now. It is the moon journal that I always wanted. I have bought moon journals for years and I have never found one like this. This is exactly all the things that I wanted in a moon journal. So get yours. I'll put the link in the description so that you can use your journal as I share these videos with you for free on YouTube so that I can teach you all the things. It's coaching with the cosmos at its finest. And that is what I'd love to do. I also love to do personal readings. So if you would like to get a personal reading of your astrology birth chart, you can see that link in the description as well. So let's talk about it. 24 degrees of Leo. Okay, first of all, what is a full moon? It's when the moon and the sun are opposite. They're opposite. When it's a new moon, they're together. The sun and the moon. Sun and the moon are opposite on a full moon, and the sun and the moon are the king and the queen in our chart. And I go into that in my books as well, and that I sell on Amazon. This isn't the only one I sell on Amazon. I've got a shadow work and astrology journal. I've got a how to decode your big 3 journal as well. All of those links are in the description, but yes, a full moon. Okay, it is when the king and the queen are in opposition. So just think about it. The king and the queen are opposing each other. What might happen? So it definitely always has those vibes. And you just have to ask any ER nurse or elementary school teacher, right? The hospitals are full and the kids are going crazy, right? When there's a full moon. And we know that. We are used to knowing that full moons cause a lot of emotions because the moon does rule our emotional body, and we can get into tune with our emotions in these lunar cycles. And that's why I've shared the top 4 that we can really work with to become emotionally intelligent, in fact, brilliant when it comes to our emotions and learning how to embrace the cycles of La Luna. So this particular one, 24 degrees of Leo. Okay, so anything that is 23 and above. So check out your natal birth chart. If you don't have one yet, you just go to astro.com for a free one. And any planet or luminary that is 23 degrees or above is considered out of bounds. So this is an out of bounds moon. So what does that mean? What does it all mean? And there's going to be a lot like that this year. They're all out of bounds, basically. When you go through and you see the degrees of all the full moons, you'll see that. And the new moons are at 9-degree mark. And the 9 is 2025. And it's 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 is 9. And all these new moons are 9 degrees. And then all the full moons are out of bounds. So it's yet another indicator of how wacky the astrology of 2025 is. And by wacky, I mean fabulous. I do sincerely mean fabulous. I think it's our time finally to shine and to change and to embrace and to become the next best version of ourselves. And this full moon is absolutely no exception. It is an out of bounds Leo full moon. So out of bounds. It means it might be a wild card. You don't know what's going to happen, and it's going to have the flavor of Leo. Okay, so Leo, let's talk about it. Leo is all heart. Leo is all heart when it's in its highest expression. And by the way, every single sign in the zodiac has a high expression and a shadow vibe. And I go into that in my books as well. High vibing Leo energy. So people that are Leos, or that if you have a lot of Leo in your birth chart, maybe you don't have your sun in Leo, but you have other planets, maybe you even have a stellium in Leo, or you have a Leo rising or a Leo moon, you're having a moon return. Um, People with a lot of Leo, if they're high vibing, they are all coming from the heart. Very courageous, very fierce, and but in the best possible way, fierce, right? Very creative, extremely creative, the most creative. They are the actors and the actresses and the poets, and they are the great performers. And a Leo needs to be seen and heard, needs to express themselves to the world. So if you are in a low vibing Leo energy, so again, if you have a lot of Leo in your chart, if you're a Leo sun sign, if you have a Leo stellium, if you have a Leo moon, if you have a Leo rising, you are considered a Leo person. And low vibing Leo people, look out, because that is the ego on steroids. And so they can't take the feedback because they're always right in because you get stuck in the ego. And the ego, yes, it can come across very narcissistic. Yes, that is one expression of ego when you're living egocentric. But another expression of living in your ego is just being afraid of everything. So just not doing anything. So being an extremely creative person and just not being creative because you're just scared because you have this 9 to 5 job that has all the benefits and da 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 da, even though your soul is yearning to do something much more creative and soul aligned. But if you're stuck in the ego because you are a strong Leo person and you're stuck in the shadow vibe of the Leo expression, then you're going to be scared of everything and you're going to be living in the ego. So again, the ego is, if you're living egocentric, you're not following your heart. And as a Leo person, if you have a Leo moon, you have so much intuitive guidance to be coming from your heart and to be heart coherent and to be heart led in all of your decisions and being courageous to do so. So hopefully I have given you a bit of a showcase to give you a little bit of an idea of what Leo energy can be like, highest expression as well as the shadow vibe expression. And to keep in mind that this is a 24-degree Leo full moon, meaning it is an out of bounds Leo full moon. It can be all the things. It can be the highest heart-led decision. It can be the most egocentric decision and actions and behaviors and anything in between when it comes to Leo. And again, the full moon always illuminates. The moon is full in the sky. It's like a spotlight up in the sky, and it is sharing light where you normally can't see it in the dark. That's what a full moon always does for us. And so we're able to see, well, what has manifested or what has not manifested since particularly 6 months ago. So that would be early August. And again, if you were new mooning, if you were writing your intentions like I did for the new moon in Aquarius just 2 weeks ago, and you can go back and see that video if you like. So I wrote out my intentions and now I'm going to sit on it. And I give you the step by step on how to manifest, how to breathe through it, how to close your eyes, how to speak it out loud, and then how to let it go. All the step by step on what to do in terms of writing out the new moon intentions. You let it go. And then in 6 months' time, when there's a full moon in Aquarius, you will see what has shown up, what has not shown up. So it's the same. It's the same. 6 months ago, early August, okay, were you writing out your new moon intentions? And were you able to find where does Leo fall in your natal birth chart? So you knew the area of life to write out your intentions and do the step-by-step manifestation process. So that now, 6 months later, now that the moon is full, it's the end of that moon cycle. And so you will see what has shown up or what is not showing up. And that full moon in the dark sky is a spotlight to show you. It will show you what has and has not shown up, what needs to be let go, what you need to release. Full moons are always about releasing and letting go. And so I'm going to step you through this. Where is Leo in your own natal birth chart? I'm going to step you through that. But first, I just want to talk about the astrology of this particular full moon. So again, I've told you it's 24 degrees of Leo, meaning it is out of bounds, and that's that wild card, not sure. The moon doesn't know how to act. Planets don't know how to act once it's 23 and above. That's what I mean by out of bounds and wild card energy. And so people that are listening to this, you might really resonate with this if you have this in your natal birth chart, anything that is 23 and above. But this particular full moon on the 12th of February, so right around Valentine's, so you're definitely going to feel it. You always feel full moons a couple days before, a couple of days after. So yeah, this is right in time for Valentine's this year. This particular full moon is opposite Mercury. Mercury is at 26 degrees Aquarius, so right next to the sun. The sun is at 24 of Aquarius, and then Mercury is right next to it at 26, but it's opposing this moon. And they're both, it's a T-square. It's a perfect T-square. It's a fixed T-square to Uranus at 23 degrees of Taurus. So isn't that something? If you know anything about astrology, a T-square, it's that triangle and it's in red. So if you have this in your natal birth chart, you know this energy. You've been living this energy out your whole life. And so a T-square, it's a square to the sun, it's a square, and it's Uranus. Uranus is squaring the sun, Uranus is squaring the moon. And the sun and the moon are opposing. So it's that perfect T-square. And so with both the sun and the moon squaring Uranus in Taurus, Uranus seeks to liberate us always, but it does come with shocks and surprises. And so shocks and surprises can be delightful, and they can also be not very delightful. So again, it's an out of bounds full moon in Leo. Leo needs to be seen and heard. In fact, if you know any Leo people and you don't see them and you don't hear them, you will be corrected. Leo is the royalty. And so in common day, we don't really, well, we do still have the monarchs in the UK, but in common day, our kings and our queens are our prime ministers and our presidents. So one can't help but think with this T-square to Uranus, will something happen to our kings? Meaning the current president, the current prime ministers of our countries. There's certainly a lot of information and headlines regarding the president of the United States. You might have noticed, perhaps you've noticed, no matter where you live. I'm from Canada, so we are watching from the Great White North, and we are definitely we're sending our love, and we're also noticing that we need to start noticing with what's happening with the tariffs, and we're given an extra 30 days here. Well, we'll just see, right? So this is coming right in line on February the 12th. Right around this time, we've got this T-square and something shocking when it comes to the kings of the kings of the countries. So on a global scale, will we see something regarding the presidents and the prime ministers, and perhaps even some of the monarch that are still around? Will something happen? Will it be shocking and will it be surprising? Because Uranus brings shocks and surprises. And again, I will remind you, shocks and surprises can be delightful, and they often cannot be delightful. Either way, delightful or not, Uranus seeks to liberate us and liberate us as a people, liberate us as, one group of souls living on one planet. So just try to keep that in mind regarding what might happen on the global scale regarding the kings and the queens. Another thing that really pops to mind on a global scale is that Uranus is in Taurus, and this could be shocking, literally shocking to the earth information or events such as earthquakes, because, with Uranus in an earth sign of Taurus, Taurus rules the earth. One can't help but think that. And I know there's already Santorini, that's where I was honeymooning not too long ago, in Santorini in Greece. And I know that they're being evacuated. Maybe the big ones are going to hit. Let's just watch. Let's just watch what happens with the earth. And again, it might be really shocking and like literally shaking. That's Uranus. Uranus shakes and shocks and surprises. But again, it's always to liberate. Uranus is also the great genius, great genius. So don't be surprised if you get some extreme downloads and you just know what to do and you finally have let go, because a full moon is all about letting go, releasing. It's the end of the cycle. Don't be surprised if you get some absolutely brilliant downloads on how to rewire, how to reframe, and then move forward to a new cycle, because this is the end of the cycle. And again, if you weren't writing in a moon journal in early August, writing out your moon intentions, okay, my best advice is to go through your phone, go back 6 months. What were you doing? Look through the photos, look through the photos in early August. What were you doing? Because that'll take you back to where you were living, back to your headspace. What were you hoping for? What was going on in your life? And now, 6 months later, La Luna is illuminating for you what's showing up to release, what didn't show up, and you really do need to let that thing go. A full moon always illuminates what's there, what has shown up. Whereas a new moon is all about, I'm going to start a new cycle so that I can see what shows up. It's a planting of the seed at the new moon. You plant the seed, you pack it, you pack the ground, and then you watch what grows, and then you reap your harvest 6 months later. So what are you collecting now? What has the universe gifted you with? So that now you can close that door and start a whole new cycle. Or what is the universe showing? Oh, and you get that feeling. And again, that's where the term lunatic comes from when you're talking about a full moon. And that's why there are lunatics that go a little bit crazy at a full moon. And it's that knowing deep within, oh, I knew I should have done that thing. Oh, I knew I should have started that new thing because now someone else started it, and now look what's happening for them, and it's shown up for them. Or I should have worked hard. I knew should have worked on that thing and it would have shown up. But no, La Luna is illuminating what didn't show up. And so you feel like a lunatic. You are tapping in to the intuitive guidance of the moon, which rules our emotions. So that's just a fun little way of looking at what a full moon cycle's always about. Okay, let's not forget that Mars is retrograde in Cancer at 17 degrees of Cancer. So it's still in retrograde. Mars does not like being in Cancer at all. But whenever a planet is in retrograde, that's always guidance for us to rethink, redo, reanalyze. It's the re words. So retrograde starts with an RE, and we're all supposed to be embracing that energy to redo. And when it comes to Mars and Cancer, the top energy of Mars being in Cancer is passive aggression. So if you are noticing the people around you are more and more passive aggressive than usual, that's Mars in Cancer. And if you're noticing that you've been dishing out that passive aggressive behavior while Mars is retrograding Cancer, that's for you to take a step back, become the observer, and realize, I'm the one that's dishing that out, and I'm going to stop that. I'm going to stop the blaming and shaming, and no more passive aggression. I'm going to stop on that. Let's also not forget that Neptune and the North Node are conjunct in Pisces. So that's very dreamy energy. So for a lot of people, there are miracles happening that just pop out of nowhere. You can't even believe it. And You might think it's the full moon, and that's part of it. That's part of this full moon energy is the wild card out of bounds 24 degree. Yes, and it's T-squaring Uranus and Uranus shocks and delay. Yes, but it's also in conjunction with Neptune and the North Node being together in Pisces, which is miraculous. But that energy shadow vibe can be very confusing and you don't know what to do. And so you're stuck in a rut and you're just like, well, I know I'm very magical. I know I can do things. I know I've had like the motivation to do things in the past and you're just totally not feeling it. You're very confused. A lot of brain fog. A lot of brain fog. This Neptune North Node conjunct in Pisces at the same time as this full moon in Leo, but uh, on the other hand, this could be the windfall, the breakthrough, the greatest miracle. It could be. It really could be. So it is a magical time. There's no question about it. I will also say for fixed signs, people with a lot of fixed signs energy around 23, 24, 25 degrees, give or take a few more as well. I usually allow a bigger orb of 5, 6 degrees. So if you have fixed energy, you have your fixed is Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus. Okay, that's fixed energy. So if you have your suns there, if you have your moons there, if you have a rising sign, Scorpio or whatever around those degrees, this one's going to hit you. This full moon's going to hit you, and you're going to feel it. And let's remember what fixed energy is about. Fixed is very stubborn. So if you have, a lot of fixed planets and points and degrees in your chart, you might be a very stubborn person and you might be surprised at this full moon. Something might really show up for you. The La Luna might illuminate something for you about just how rigid you've been, and it might really surprise you. Please do remember, life is happening for you, and Uranus always seeks to liberate. So you might not remember that in the moment, but if you do have a lot of fixed energy in your chart, this might really wake you up out of that stubborn, rigid behavior that you have been so used to your whole life because that's in your natal birth chart. And stubbornness has been a thing, and it's been a thing for a long time. And this might really shock you out of that. Okay, so we've talked about earthquakes and leaders in the world stage. I want to get into what it'll be like for you personally in your birth chart. And I will just say, before I go into it, expect the unexpected with this full moon. This could be the greatest miracle of your life. This could be the greatest groundbreaking manifestation that's ever happened. But it might not be as well. And so expect the unexpected. Understand that that T-square from the sun and the moon down to Uranus in Taurus is really shaking it up and making you do things. And that's what you're going to feel at the time of this full moon is like, I gotta do some stuff. If you haven't been following the internal guidance, if you haven't been writing in your moon journal 6 months ago, at the time of the new moon in Leo, which was early August. If you haven't been participating in that and listening to your intuition, and now you're feeling La Luna, you're feeling like the lunatic from La Luna's Illuminations, and you're feeling like, oh, I knew I should have done something about that, or oh, that's passed me by. It's okay. We're here to say it's okay. It's time to let it go. A full moon always encourages you to let go, let goddess. Okay. So I'm going to go through your natal birth chart. Where is Leo in your natal birth chart? And then in the show's notes, what I'm going to do is I'll give the timestamps. So wherever Leo is in your birth chart, and also say if it's, you can follow for your sun sign, you can follow for your rising sign. All you have to do is look at the timestamps in the show's notes. And I always look for my rising sign first, and then I look for my sun sign second, and both can resonate. Sometimes the sun resonates more than the rising sign. So again, I always timestamp it for you, so it's easy for you to look through. So we're going to go through what is La Luna illuminating for you regarding Leo in your natal birth chart. Okay, does Leo rule your first house? Congratulations, you are a Leo rising. One of my children is a Leo rising, and he has thick, thick eyebrows, thick, big hair, and so he has that lion. He is the lion, right? You look like a lion. You've got the hair and everything. He is a very courageous soul. So if you are a Leo rising and that resonates, you've got great hair, you've got great eyebrows. We love that about you, and you show up with an open heart. Your heart is open. And my little guy, he really is. He really is this. And I hope that he remains as that proud Leo rising that he is. And so if you are a Leo rising, so that means that the full moon is illuminating your first house. What's it all about? Well, your first house is, I always say, it's your cosmic business card. So it's like, hello, and here I am. Your rising sign is where you aspire to rise in your life as you walk throughout life. So, how you show up at work, how you show up with friends, how you show up at the grocery store when you're just getting your groceries. Are you polite? Are you like, get out of my way? Your first house always indicates how people see you. So, it's not necessarily representing your soul, but it's how you're showing up and stepping out in this beautiful avatar that we've all been given. So, Leo risings, you are beautiful. You are very courageous. That's how we see you. And are you rising to the occasion of that rising sign? If Leo is in your first house, that gives you a little bit of an idea of what it's like to be a Leo rising. Also, you need to be seen and you need to be heard. And also, people want to hear you and people want to see you. You are the great creator. You are very, very creative, and that's how the world wants to see you. So if you are a Leo rising, if you're listening to this and you're like, no, I am playing small, let this be a let this be the sign you were waiting for. And so all those things, the moon will illuminate for you at the time of this full moon at 24 degrees. Do you have other planets? Do you have any planets or points? Is your ascendant at 24 or around 24? This one's going to hit you. And so La Luna is illuminating what has shown up in your identity. For sure, your first house is your identity, your how you look. You might completely get a haircut. It might be a totally new look, yes. But also, like 6 months ago in early August, you might have written in your moon journal, I want to lose weight. And so your identity would be transformed 6 months later. I want to lose weight. I want to gain weight. I want to something about the way that you look. Maybe you want a whole new wardrobe, and you're like, I'm going to manifest that at the time of the full moon. So it might be an actual physical identity thing that's being manifested for you at the time of this full moon in Leo. But it could be any area of your life. When it rules your first house, it could be anything. And just go back. Like I said, if you weren't writing in a moon journal 6 months ago at the time of planting seeds at the new moon in Leo, then just go back on your phone and check out what you were doing in early August, early to mid-August, what was going on, and it might like bring you back to where your mindset was at and what you were hoping for. Maybe you wanted to totally shift one area of your life. So go back and look because at the time of a full moon, La Luna is up there in the sky and it is so bright. It is the brightest that it is all month at the time of the full moon. And it illuminates all the things we normally can't see in the dark. And so La Luna is showing what has shown up since 6 months ago. La Luna might also be illuminating what has not shown up. So again, if you were hoping to lose some weight and you haven't, right? So La Luna will illuminate whatever it is. And so you might be shocked and surprised because Uranus is involved in this party. So is the North Node and Neptune. I was saying go back and listen to the beginning of this video where I gave you more of an astrological update of this, what's going on at the time of this 24 degree, which is an out of bounds full moon in Leo. But expect the unexpected and whatever has or has not shown up for you to perhaps close the door, end of the cycle, whatever has or has not shown up, it's here to liberate you. And it might be shocking and it might really be surprising because Uranus is involved, but it is here to liberate your life and to help you get to that next level. Okay, does Leo rule your second house? Okay, the second house is your self-worth. And then when you really step in to how worthy you truly are, then the money flows. The money is an energy exchange and it's just waiting. Your second house shows you how you just are waiting to step in to that flow of energy that money brings. Money is not a tangible thing, even though we think it is. We have been trained that money is a physical manifestation. And it's like, well, of course it is, because it is physically in my hand. I hear you. But first and foremost, it is an energy exchange. And when you do step into your self-worth and know that you're worthy of receiving the money will flow. So the second house is all about what you're worth. What are you worth? So if you've been working at the same job for 20 years and you've never gotten a raise and you just haven't stepped up to the plate and asked the boss for the raise, well, you're speaking loudly to the universe saying, I am not worthy and I will stay little and I will stay small. But Leo wants you to speak up. Wherever Leo shows up in your birth chart, this is where you are meant to be seen. This is where you are meant to be heard. You are meant to be creative when it comes to your worthiness, really understanding your worth. So maybe you need to get a little bit more creative about understanding your worth, and then it's going to flow in. So perhaps when you were writing in your journal at the time of the new moon in Leo, you were feeling this and you knew that Leo ruled your second house. So what you did is, I'm going to work on my self-worth because I am worthy of a $5 an hour raise. So that by the time in 6 months when the full moon is in Leo, my self-worth is going to be right on par and I'll have that raise. So second house is all about your worth. Okay. So think back. If you weren't writing in your moon journal and you would like to get one now, okay, get one now. But if you weren't writing in your moon journal, then go back to your phone, check out what was going on, look at the photos what were you doing in early August? And that's going to take you back to where your mind was at. What were you wanting to start? That's where you always plant the seeds at the time of the new moon. You always plant those seeds so that you can see your harvest 6 months later. So La Luna is up there in that dark, dark sky, and it is so bright and it's showing you everything you normally can't see in the dark. And so La Luna is showing what has shown up or what has not shown up regarding your second house, which is all things self-worth, the money that you make, you've made it. And so it goes into your bank account. It's your possessions, and it's all about what you are worth. Okay, does Leo rule your third house? Okay, this is where you are meant to be seen and you are meant to be heard. So third house, I always say, is the junk drawer. First and foremost, it's communication, but it's a lot of other things. So third house is what you write, what you speak, what you say, the way you say it, the words that you use. Yes, it is all those things. Third house is also the internet. Third house is also education, learning, particularly those earlier years in your life, elementary school age, junior high, high school. It's also your neighbors and your neighborhood. It's also your transportation, cars, scooters, bikes. It's also your cousins and your friends that feel like family, siblings. So again, it's a lot of things. The third house is a lot of things. So La Luna is up there in that dark sky and it's like a spotlight and it's shining down into the darkness where you can't normally see things. And so you can now see it at the time of this full moon in Leo, what showed up or what didn't show up when it comes to all those things I just said. And perhaps 3 months ago, you were writing in your moon journal and you knew that Leo ruled your third house and you knew that you were being intuitively guided to have a new beginning and plant some seeds regarding all those third house things that I just mentioned, which is a lot of things. And perhaps you wanted to start something online, write a book, write a blog. All those things are third house, all those things. And so you wrote the intention. I give you step-by-step guide on how to do it. regarding writing it, reading it, speaking it, closing your eyes, feeling it, seeing it, then letting it go. I step by step guide what to do at that magical new moon, which was 6 months ago in Leo. So now here you are 6 months later in Leo, and it's what has shown up. La Luna is illuminating what has shown up regarding all those third house things or what has not. And new full moons are always about letting go, releasing. It's the end of the cycle. It's like, okay, I'll get them next time, Tiger. There's been plenty of full moons where I have felt like a lunatic because La Luna has illuminated what didn't show up, and I darn well knew it. So yeah, you feel like a lunatic and you feel like, oh, I knew it. Oh. So brush yourself off and try again. There's always another lunar cycle to work with. There always is, okay? This one is just particularly in Leo about your creative, your being seen, being heard, all things third house. Okay, does Leo rule your fourth house? Okay, so this is where the king and the queen are in each other's homes, right? So Leo is the king. Leo rules the sun. And the moon is ruled by Cancer, and that is the queen. So it's in each other's house. And so sometimes Leo doesn't like being in the fourth because that's the queen's house, is what I'm trying to say. And so you might, if you have planetary placements, if you have sun, moon, if you have other planets down in the fourth in Leo, so you might feel this your whole life, like I don't really belong because this isn't really my house. This isn't really where I belong. I belong up there. I belong up in the 10th. And so Cancer feels the same because Cancer rules up here and Leo rules down here. Okay, but regardless of if you felt that or not, I'm here to say that Leo rules your fourth house. And so what's showing up regarding all things fourth house? House, home, property, for sure. For sure, house, home, property. Real estate, like for sure it's those things. But it's also things to do with your family. Maybe your mother wounds, maybe your lineage, maybe you're healing those mother wounds, that family drama. You know, what's showing up regarding family? What's showing up regarding your mom in particular, or just family and your emotions? The fourth house rules your emotional body, and we get it from our mama, right? And so, what is showing up for your emotions? Or house, home, property, real estate. That's what the fourth house is. So there's La Luna, so bright up in the sky, like a spotlight, shining so brightly in the darkness where we can't normally see. But at the time of this full moon in Leo, we're seeing what has shown up or what has not shown up since 6 months ago. You were writing in your journal, right? 6 months ago at the new moon in Leo, that was at the beginning of August, you were intuitively guided to write some intentions. And I want new things regarding all things fourth house, which is house, home, property, real estate, my emotions, my emotional body, my mother wounds, my mother, my family drama. Okay. You wrote some intentions regarding those things. So now 6 months later, you're seeing what La Luna is illuminating, what has shown up, what has not shown up. And you'll feel it. You're going to feel this one, especially if Leo rules your fourth, because that is your emotions, right? And you might feel out of bounds, out of control, wild card, because this is an out of bounds full moon. And something shocking and surprising might come up because we got Uranus involved. So and you might feel really confused because you've got Neptune North Node conjunct in Pisces. There's a lot going on at the time of this full moon, is what I'm trying to say. But I will say, expect the unexpected. And if something shocking, surprising, rattling does come up regarding all those fourth house things, just know that it will liberate you in the end. I'm not trying to silver line you, but for now, just know that it's just the cycle and it's time to let go, let Goddess. Okay, does Leo rule your fifth? Well, well, well. That means you're an Aries rising. This is where Leo belongs. Leo loves it here. Leo is strong in the fifth house, okay? And so this is all things creative and fun. Very, very creative. So, I mean, sure, you think of creativity, you think of maybe painting a picture. Sure, that might be part of it, but creating anything, you might create an online course, create a book. You might be really into knitting. Okay, it is crafts. It is very crafty. It is very, very artistic, but it's also you need to be seen and you need to be heard here. So Leo likes to be seen and heard, indeed. And so showing up. It also rules your children, fertility. Okay, it's all things fun and childlike and very brave and all about the heart. So if the moon is in your fifth, that means Leo rules your fifth. It's time for you to take an honest look at what has shown up or what has not shown up regarding all those fifth house things that I just said. If you were writing in your moon journal 6 months ago in early August, you were intuitively guided and advised on how to do it. You were guided to write intentions regarding all those fifth house things, okay? And so maybe just an example is I want to be pregnant. I want to be pregnant by, the full moon. I've been having fertility issues, or I'm just ready to be a mom now. And then boom, the Luna shows up for you and shows that yes, you are in fact pregnant because the fifth house is all things children. Now, it could also be a new creative project. Maybe you wanted to learn how to paint a house, and you had no idea how to paint a house. And so you put that in your journal. I will find out, I will learn, I will do it myself. I wouldn't be guided to learn how to paint the house. And then boom, the Luna has illuminated. Here's that beautiful masterpiece that you created, right? So what has shown up regarding all those fifth house things, or what has not shown up that you knew, you intuitively knew? And if you weren't writing in a journal, look back in your phone, what was happening 6 months ago, early August, just look back. What was going on in your life? Get back to your mindset. Where was your mind at? Something that you knew you needed to start a new project, a new creative project, or you needed, if you have children already, you needed to shift something within the relationship because fifth house is all things children. So your kids might be teenagers and you wanted to fix the relationship, grow closer, whatever. So La Luna is illuminating what has shown up regarding all those fabulous fifth house things. Maybe you wanted to learn how to open the heart chakra. Okay, so what is showing up? What has shown up for you? Or what has not shown up for you regarding all those fifth house things? That's time for you to take the step back and then let go, let goddess, when it comes, maybe you didn't get it this time and that's okay. Okay, does Leo rule your sixth house? Sixth house is all things health and healthy, right? Definitely, it's all things health and healthy, but it's also what you do. It's the habits that you do every single day, whether it's at work, whether it's in your life. It's super boring, but it's those everyday little atomic habits that you are or not doing. And it's the service house. It truly is the healer house. People that have a lot of sixth house energy are the healers of the world. And also it does represent pets. So all those things I just said, if Leo is ruling your sixth, La Luna is up there in the dark sky like a spotlight. And what it's doing is it's shining down where you can't normally see in the dark, and it's showing you what has shown up or what has not shown up since 6 months ago at the time of the new moon when you were writing your new moon intentions at the Leo new moon in early August. And so you were guided to write, I intend all things healthy. I want to be healthy come 6 months time. I want to start a new health routine. I want to start new daily habits that are going to improve my life. I want to start changing it up at work, and I want to do the different tasks at work so that by 6 months, my job, which has grown to be monotonous, maybe it'll look different. It's all those things. By 6 months ago, maybe you wanted to have a pet. The pet now arrives. It's all those things Take a look back in your moon journal, available on Amazon. If you don't have a moon journal, go back to your phone, what was going on early August, look through, scroll through, see what was happening in early August. You'll see where your mindset was. You might be reminded, that's what was going on for me. Okay. And so you were intuitively guided. You didn't even know. This is the first time you've even heard of manifesting with the moon. And you intuitively knew you needed a new beginning, all things healthy, all things daily habits, all things healing. Maybe you wanted to learn how to be a healer 6 months ago, and now you've got your level 1 Reiki, stuff like this. The Luna will illuminate what has or has not shown up since 6 months ago when you were planting the seeds at the new moon in Leo. Okay, does Leo rule your 7th house? This is your relationship house. So it's your spouse. It's also your best friend. It's also your open enemies. It's also your business partner. It's your closest relationships. And so 6 months ago, you were writing in your moon journal that is available on Amazon, and you were writing, I want to have I'm married, I love him, but we need a fresh new start. We need to shake things up. This is what you were intending. So that comes 6 months' time. It feels like a new relationship, a reset button, like a new beginning in my marriage. Or maybe same goes for a friend, same goes for a business partner, or something about like, look, I know that this person is an enemy of mine. Fine, but I need to change my mindset. So they can keep hating me all they want. They can gossip about me all they want. I know they're doing that. I want to have a totally different outlook on my open enemies. And then here it is, you've got that mindset shift. You are now empowered. You've got your power back. You're never going to be friends with them, and that's fine, right? Or else like you literally might meet your soulmate, and you might literally be getting married at the time of this full moon in Leo, right? So again, the Luna is up there in the sky, dark, dark sky, like a spotlight at the time of a full moon. And it is illuminating all the things in the dark we don't normally see. And the Luna at a full moon always illuminates what has shown up or what has not shown up since 6 months ago when you were setting the intentions at the new moon in Leo. And if you weren't writing in your moon journal, I always advise to check your phone and just scroll back to early August. And that's going to take you back to what was going on in your life. Where was your mind at? What was your mindset like back then? And it will remind you about, what you knew needed to start new regarding all of those 7th house things. So let us know. Maybe you're getting married. Maybe you're getting married at the time of this full moon. Wouldn't that be exciting? Okay, is Leo ruling your 8th house? Okay, the 8th house is all things transformation. I always call it the butterfly house. So you couldn't even go back to being the caterpillar if you wanted to, because you are now a butterfly. You are a totally different creature. You totally transformed your life. It's also the phoenix rising from the ashes. So there was a point where you reached the rock bottom. There was nowhere else to go. You couldn't keep going down. So the only option was to rise like the phoenix. And so it is the transformation house. It truly, truly is. It is also chunky money, I call it. So inheritance, tax money, the money you make with a spouse, or the money that you make from your family. It's that sort of stuff. It's also the house of sex. So maybe a new beginning regarding a sex life. And it's all things like the woo-woo, astrology, tarot, all the things. It's all those things. It's all the woo things in the 8th house too. So it's a very transformational house. And so La Luna's up there in the dark sky like a spotlight, illuminating all the things in the dark that we don't normally see. And so it's all for you, it's all things 8th house. What has shown up since 6 months ago when you were writing in your moon journal? At the time of the new moon in Leo, which was in early August, you were intuitively guided to write intentions about all those 8th house things. You needed to plant seeds for a new beginning regarding all those 8th house things I just said. The Luna will also illuminate maybe what has not shown up, and you intuitively knew it. You knew you should have planted those seeds. You knew you should have started a new fresh cycle with that new moon, and you didn't. And that's why we get called lunatics at the time of the full moon often. And I've been there. I've had the manifestations show up and I'm like, "Yay, I did it." I've also felt like, "Oh, I didn't do it." So I've felt both. We're so intuitively guided by the moon and it rules our emotions, right? And so that's why we can often be lunatics when it is a full moon because it is the end of the cycle. We had our opportunity to plant the seeds 6 months ago, and sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. So the Luna will illuminate what has shown up and manifested in your life or what has not regarding all those eighth house things. So let us know what has or has not shown up for you. Does Leo rule your ninth house? The ninth house is the spirituality house, so religion or spirituality. It's also like, what do you believe, right? What are your beliefs? What's your belief system? The ninth house is also foreigners, so foreign people, as well as foreign travel. The ninth house is also publications, so publishing a book. Did you publish a book? Did you write the intention? And now the book is published. And it's also a teaching and learning house. So, what were your intentions that you were writing in your new moon journal 6 months ago in early August at the time of the new moon in Leo? What were you writing? What were you writing about to intending to start a new cycle and knowing that 6 months later at the full moon, La Luna would bring it to you or not? So if you were intuitively guided to write, and you knew that Leo ruled your ninth house, you maybe one of the things is I want to write a journal and book, just like Jenny does on Amazon. I'm going to write that intention and it will be published by the time of the full moon. So maybe it's that. Maybe you wanted to go back for your master's degree, okay? And so you intended that in August, and now you are accepted into the program. Maybe you wanted to take that trip overseas and you wrote that intention. It's like, I'm going to go on that dream trip. It's going to happen. 6 months later, La Luna has illuminated that for you. So, or maybe it has to do with spirituality and religion. And, I want to know what it is that I believe. I want to explore my own spiritual beliefs. And so now La Luna has manifested it for you or not. And again, if you weren't writing in a moon journal 6 months ago, I highly advise that you go back on your phone, look what was happening in your life in early August, look through the photos, and then take yourself back to that mindset. Where was your mind at? What were you hoping for? And that's going to remind you what was going on in your life. What were the seeds that you were planting metaphorically at the time of that new moon in Leo? Now it is or is not showing up in your ninth house. Okay, does Leo rule your 10th house? Well, that means you're Scorpio rising, because I would know because I am a Scorpio rising and Leo does rule my 10th house. And so this is all things career. Okay, so La Luna is up there in that dark sky like a spotlight, and it is shedding light on all the things you normally can't see in the dark. And La Luna is showing what has shown up or not. And it's regarding your career. It's the 10th house is the top of your chart. It is your social status. It's what people see. You couldn't hide. You couldn't hide this stuff, even if you wanted to hide it. Everyone sees it because so it's a title change from Ms. to Mrs., from assistant to CEO. It's a title change. It's the raise, like it's like I'm stepping up into the role that I deserve in my career, or your career is finally being spotlighted for the world to see. Maybe you're an online influencer and you've been plugging away at it, and 6 months ago you were writing in your moon journal and you knew that Leo rules your 10th, so you made the intention to be like, I'm going to plug away at this social media thing. I'm going to plug away because in 6 months' time, I will now be seen. I will now attract the clients. People will see me up there. I will be seen and heard. Wherever Leo is in your birth chart, this is where you are seen and heard. And so definitely career, social status, title change. 10th house is also things with your father's lineage, your father's side. So family stuff regarding your dad. So maybe there's a new beginning with your dad or something's going on with your dad. It could be that, but mostly it's career. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what La Luna brings for me at the time of this, maybe my moon journal of 2025 is now here for everyone to purchase on Amazon so that we can use this moon energy. I go through the four phases of the moon that work like a hot darn for manifestation. So maybe for me, my moon journal will really take off. I'm also available for personal readings. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you'll see all that in the show notes. Okay, does Leo rule your 11th house? Okay, this is where Leo is for you. This is where you need to be seen. This is where you need to be heard. And so your whole life you felt it here. So friends and groups, friendships and online groups or groups in person that you are involved in. It's also the future. The 11th house is future thinking, forward thinking, brilliant thinking. And it's all things technology and it's all things the internet and online and all the technology we could think and we don't even know yet. It's AI times a million. We think we know AI and it changes every day. That's the 11th house. All those things. It's the greatest good for all, the 11th house is. So 6 months ago, when you were writing in your moon journal at the time of the new moon in Leo, which was in early August, you were writing out an intention. Maybe you wanted a whole new friendship group, or you wanted to be involved in some kind of a new group. Maybe it was that. Maybe you wanted to learn a new technology. Maybe you wanted to learn how to use AI properly. And so La Luna is up there in that dark sky like a spotlight at the time of this full moon in Leo. And it's illuminating all those things in the dark that we normally can't see. So it's showing you what has shown up or has not shown up regarding all those 11th house things. So let us know in the comments what has or has not shown up for you if Leo rules your 11th. And last but not least, does Leo rule your 12th house? This is the final house. So funny enough, this is where you need to be seen and heard. And you might be hiding how you're seen and heard your whole life if Leo rules your 12th. But the 12th house is the letting go house. It is the let go, let goddess house. And that's what full moons are all about. It is releasing, let go, let goddess, ending the cycle, right? So you might really feel this one if Leo rules your 12th. Maybe forgiveness, you've reached forgiveness that you never thought you would. Maybe you finally let go of all that hurt and pain. Maybe, just maybe, it's all things to do with 12th house structures such as hospitals, orphanages, rehab centers. It's all of those underground kind of places. So maybe what La Luna is doing is illuminating like a spotlight, what we don't normally see in the dark. And it shows you what has shown up or has not. So if it's regarding the hospital, maybe you wanted 6 months ago, you were writing in your new moon journal and you intended to get that job at that hospital. The Luna is showing you got the job. It could be that. Or at the rehab center or at the orphanage. Not that we have orphanages in the Western world, but you know what I'm saying. It's those kind of things. Also, it's all things addictions. The 12th house is all things addictions. So maybe at 6 months ago, early August, you were like, I want to quit drinking. I want to quit smoking. I intend to quit the vaping. 6 months later, you did it. It could be that. That being said, if you weren't writing in a moon journal and you're trying to think back, okay, what was going on in early August? I highly recommend you get out your phone, just look through your pictures, what was going on in your life at that time. You'll get back to your mindset. And so maybe you'll remember, oh, that's right. I did want to quit sugar, booze, whatever it was. Oh, I meant to do that and I never did I? And La Luna is going to illuminate what hasn't shown up for you. And you might feel like a lunatic because that's how people feel on full moons a lot of the time because it is illuminating what we knew intuitively. We didn't even know about astrology and new moon planting seeds at the new moon. We didn't even know, but we intuitively knew 6 months ago. I got to quit that thing. I've got to forgive that guy. I've got to let go of that victim story. It's all that stuff. And La Luna might be illuminating that you didn't. And that's okay. I've been there many times at a full moon. I've been there with the manifestations as well as what has not shown up, and that's okay. We've all been there, done that, and it's okay. So there's always a new moon to set intentions with, and I go through all that in my new book that is available on Amazon. And I go through what are the moon phases to work with to help with your manifestations and your goals and your dreams. How do you do it? What do you write? And then in terms of once you've written it, what do you do with that? So I give you a step-by-step guide on the manifestation. I give you the 4 moon phases to use. I actually even go through what it's like to have a Leo moon natally. What does that feel like? What does it look like? So that when you come across a Leo full moon, you can use that as your guide, and you can also find your natal moon and you can resonate with that. And then I go through all of the dates with you for every single month and the journal prompts. So it's such a great guide. It's the moon journal that I've been looking for years. I've bought so many over the years and they have served me well, but I was always like, oh, I wanted this and I didn't need that. And so I put it together and it's available on Amazon. You're going to find the link in the show notes. And if you like the way that I teach, and if you like the way that I intuitively guide you through the cosmos and the coaching that I do with the cosmos, and you'd like to join my membership, I do this with my members every single month. We meet at the new moon and the full moon. I give you a personal read. I show you on your chart where it's showing up for you, and I give a guidance on that. And as well, I do a tarot pull for all of my members individually. Or if you just like an astrology reading, absolutely, I can do that for you too. We can go through your birth chart. I love doing that as well. So you can find all my links in the show's notes. And I'm wishing all of you a blessed full moon in Leo on the 12th. This is a Valentine's full moon, just a couple of days after. And you always feel the full moons, few days before, day of, few days after. So wishing all of you a very blessed full moon in Leo and advising you once again, expect the unexpected.